In hardcore classic WoW, your class will often be a main contributor to either your success or failure for hitting level 60. What makes some classes better than others is entirely the abilities at each given class's disposal, and how well they can make use of them in a mission to survive. Some abilities are entirely useless when it comes to hardcore survival, and some can be essential to a class's ability to live. Here's a list of the top 10 strongest abilities for hardcore classic WoW. First up, at number 10, I'm going to pick the spell Create Healthstone for Warlocks. This is a very good ability that both suits hardcore survival well and greatly complements the Warlock toolkit. Create Healthstone can be learned at level 10 and has a max rank learned at level 58. And what it does is just give you an item that can be instantly consumed for health at no cost. What is great about this spell is that it doesn't share a cooldown with health potions, which is extremely strong since it allows you to either have an extra healing in a pinch or let you use it in combination with other potions like swiftness or limited invulnerability potions. While it isn't very flashy, having an extra heal with no cast time on a class like Warlock, which gets no other fast instant healing, is amazing. It also works very well since Warlocks often have to use their health for life tap, so the odds of them being on lower than optimal health is quite likely. Next up, I'm going to choose the mage spell, Ice Block, which can be learned at level 30 at the earliest through the Frost Mage talent tree. This is one of many great mage utility spells that can be super useful in surviving. What it does is make you immune to all attacks and spells for 10 seconds while it freezes you in place. This has a multitude of really strong uses. It can be used to stop fall damage, to stall out your other strong cooldowns when you are running away. It can allow you to get an extra tick or two of mana so you have just enough to cast your spells. It could give your tank time to pull threat in a dungeon so you don't die. It could block an incoming spell or remaining dot damage, or it can even just give you some time to think if you are in major trouble. Overall, this spell is just very versatile for so many situations, and while it isn't as obviously strong as some other abilities, in the right hands, a mage can do a lot with Ice Block. Continuing at the 8th spot, we have Mind Control, a pre-spell that can be first learned at level 30. This spell is less so about saving you from death, but more about preventing the need to avoid death entirely. What this spell does is allow you to control an enemy and use their abilities temporarily, while also making them an ally which other enemies will attack. This is one of, if not the strongest ability in the game for soloing many elite quests, especially those that have multiple targets to fight. So many really sticky situations that most hardcore characters couldn't defeat can easily be handled with a simple mind control. All you have to do is mind control the main scariest target and watch them get killed by their own friends. This also works really well for Priest since their crowd control is rather inconsistent and they don't have the greatest AoE damage or kiting abilities. The only downside of mind control is that it can break early against higher level mobs, but as long as they aren't super close to you, you can just recast it. Next, at number 7, we have the perhaps best oh crap button in the game that can let you stand your ground in situations most other classes would certainly perish, and that is Retaliation. This is a level 20 warrior ability that when used will cause you to make a counterattack against every enemy that strikes you in melee for the next 15 seconds up to 30 times. This is a massive damage cooldown that can cause you to absolutely melt even 3 or 4 enemies in the matter of a few seconds. This ability gives a massive boost to the survivability of warriors, and without it, they would really have no options to bail them out of sticky situations. The only problem with this ability is that it has a 30-minute cooldown, and while you shouldn't be needing to use this every 30 minutes if you are playing smart, it is still a major drawback that can easily backfire, so that is why it is not higher on this list. Continuing at 6, we have another mage ability in Ice Barrier, which is the capstone mage talent ability that can be obtained at level 40, which is kinda late, but is probably still before the halfway point of playtime for most players on their way to level 60. This spell has a 30-second cooldown and gives the caster a moderately large shield for 1 minute or until broken. What is so good about this ability is that it gives you a ton of extra HP, especially for a mage, and has basically no downtime as long as you are keeping your mana up. This spell basically fills the one weakness mages have, which is being cloth wearers with less armor and max health, rendering them pretty much good at everything, be it single target and AoE damage, CC, mobility, or surviving. Having a permanent shield that increases your health by around 25% is amazing, and the consistent value of this spell is unrivaled. There is literally no class in the game that would not want an ability like Ice Barrier, and extra health is super important for hardcore. As we reach the halfway point of this video, I just want to take a second to thank you for watching so far and ask that you leave a like and a subscription if you are enjoying the video. If you find yourself coming back to watch multiple videos of mine and you are not subbed already, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell to see more from me in the future. Anyways, back to the video. Now at number 5, we have once again another mage ability in Frost Nova, and you are probably beginning to see a pattern here. Frost Nova is probably the best form of CC any class gets for open world leveling, as it is an AoE 8-second route that only has a 25-second cooldown with no target cap. Frost Nova, combined with the multitude of slows mages have at their disposal, makes mages mostly untouchable if played well. What's even better is that you first learn this spell at level 10, and it costs very little mana, making it extremely accessible and always at your disposal. You'll be able to escape so many bad situations other classes couldn't with the help of Frost Nova. It also works extremely well with the next entry on this list, and that is Blink at number 4. Blink is learned at level 20 and is without a doubt the best mobility spell in the game. What this spell does is teleport you 20 yards forward while cleansing you of all stun and root effects. This is a game-changing spell when it is acquired at level 20, and for hardcore, it will save your life multiple times on your way to 60. This spell lets you create so much distance between you and your enemies with so much more ease than spells like Sprint or Aspect of the Cheetah, and as a result, it is always a reliably safe option. Additionally, it can be used to negate fall damage in a pinch if you don't have feathers for slow fall, so that is a bonus. A Frost Nova into a Blink combo will get you out safely in more situations than not, and that ease of survival is why they rank so high on this list. There are a surprising amount of scenarios in which every class in the game would almost certainly die unless they are a mage, and Blink is a major contributor for that. Next up, starting the top 3, we have Divine Shield. This is a level 34 Paladin ability that gives you 10 seconds of complete invulnerability, further increased to 12 seconds at level 50. It is pretty obvious why this spell is good, as being completely immune to damage can save you from so many situations and is extremely strong. And what is even better is that this spell only has a 5-minute cooldown and costs no mana, so you will almost always have it for when you are in a pinch. Even if Bubble Hearthing is disabled in hardcore, having the ability to go immune and give yourself 10 or 12 seconds to easily run away is always going to be extremely good, and can often be life-saving since most enemies don't have leash timers much longer than 10 seconds. Now at the second spot, I'm going to put the Hunter's Tame Beast ability, gained at level 10, or just their ability to have a pet in general. This is without a doubt one of the strongest abilities in the game for both normal leveling and hardcore. Not only does the pet deal a large portion of your damage as a hunter, but it is also a super good tank that makes many encounters for hunters trivial that most other classes would at least break a sweat doing. Having a pet lets you solo so many otherwise difficult quests. Additionally, the pet is super good for taunting off of you, giving you time to run away if you are in a pickle. Having a pet is one of the primary reasons Hunter is one of, if not the best hardcore class for many. And finally, for the first place spot, I'm going to have 2 abilities since they do very similar things and serve the same function. And that is Vanish and Feign Death, learned at levels 22 and 30 for rogues and hunters respectively. Both of these abilities are used to drop the threat of the caster to 0, removing them from combat if the spell succeeds. Vanish makes use of the rogue's ability to stealth and re-enters them into stealth even during combat. Vanish is super strong since it will always succeed unless you take damage from something like an AoE or a dot right after vanishing, if the enemy attacking you can see through stealth, but these are few and far between, or if it bugs, which is just unlucky. Vanish cannot resist, even though it is highly thought to be able to resist. Feign Death, on the other hand, is a bit less consistent, since it can be resisted if mobs are close to you, and are higher level than you. But these drawbacks are counteracted a bit by your pet, which can draw aggro off of you before you feign death to let you easily escape, or can draw aggro after you feign death to help you run. Both of these abilities are strong and vary in use depending on the situation, but they are both equally essential for hardcore survival for these classes, since being able to escape almost any combat that is looking risky, and most of the time without fail, is super valuable. And that concludes my list of the 10 strongest abilities for WoW Classic Hardcore. If there are any changes you would make to the list, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Anyways, I'm out.